The 2025 NBA season is here, guys. We get your best bets for the NBA here for you today on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. My name is Steve. We're going to have your player props, spreads, totals, predictions as always. We also have a For the Sweep Parlay here for you today. Let's lock in and get a sweep here in the NBA.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire. All my bets straight from. You're in the house that cab made now. Straight fire.
As always, my friends, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of you guys' support as always. Let's have a massive Wednesday here in the NBA, guys. Really excited for the full slate of action we have for you here. Last night was opening night, but just 2 games. Tonight we're getting the full taste as we're got a lot of games here in the NBA tonight. So really excited about that, guys. And hopefully we can make some money here. Doing a quick recap from yesterday. We did fire a bunch of bets. We fired 6 bets total. We ended up going 3-3. Minus 0.07 units because we were risking just a half a unit per play. So keep that in mind. Yeah, really wasn't great reads last night, I'll be honest. I was not impressed with myself with some of the reads last night. We shouldn't have even gotten to 3-3, to be honest with you. We probably should have gone 1-5. We got gifted with overtime in the Oklahoma City Thunder Rockets game. If we didn't, we would have gotten swept in that game because we ended up hitting our over 225.5 points, and then we also ended up hitting on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 43.5 PRAs, which he hit in double overtime. So, yeah, as far as the reads, definitely in that game, I wasn't too happy about that. The next game, though, see, oddly enough, we missed on DeAndre Ayton, but I didn't mind that read at all. I thought Ayton was fine. He finished with 10 points. Obviously thought he could have done better there, but I didn't mind the read on Ayton. Very good read on Stephen Curry, under in threes. That was our best read of the night. He finished with 3 threes. And, you know, what we talked about played out that way. The Lakers' perimeter defense was very good at chasing the Warriors, for the most part, off the three-point line, or chasing Curry off the three-point line. They let some of the other guys, like Kuminga, though, get going from 3, and Buddy Hield was just making insane threes. Some of that really wasn't even the Lakers' fault. Buddy Hield was going crazy. I mean, he had a guy in his face multiple times. He still was knocking down threes. But the defense on Curry on the perimeter was very good. Luka's defense, we talked about him. That played out well for us. So I was pretty happy with that play, and that was plus value. So definitely like that. Lakers money line, they were, you know, down by 1 at halftime, and then the Warriors came out third quarter, went on a big run, and Lakers could just never get quite back into the game. But I'll be honest, I didn't mind the read on Ayton in some senses, but he looked like he was still on a beach. His effort level definitely was not impressive last night. He was moving very slow last night. So you probably won't catch me betting on him for a little bit. He was one of our favorite players to bet on last year. It's kind of why I started with him, but probably not going to be trusting him for a little bit going forward. So just keep that in mind. As far as our comment cappers, we did have a call out in the chat that hit. We have Rexy calling Alperen Sengun over 4.5 assists. He finishes with 7. And then Lit Picks calling Jonathan Kuminga 15 plus points. That cashes as well. So great calls there from our comment cappers. Make sure you guys do drop your favorite pick down below as always in the chat. Put a star or an asterisk next to your pick and we'll include your pick in our next video if it hits. Outside of that, check out all the links down below. Pinned comment, description. It's got all the links for membership, merchandise, social media links. Membership is just $3.99 here at the channel. You get access to all of our picks and our plays early. At some point, we will be bringing back our SFP exclusive pick of the day as well for our members. I'm not starting that right away, but that will be starting up relatively soon. So if you guys are going to want access to that, you will need to become a member for that, just like we did last year, if you guys are familiar with that. But outside of that, let's get right into our picks here for today and get this sweep. At number 1, we're going Derek White. Over 30.5 PRAs here for the Boston Celtics. We got minus 115 odds on Fanatics. If you guys have been around the channel any length of time, you guys will know that Derek White was easily our favorite player to bet on last season, and he treated us very good just about every time. The guy was absolute dynamo last year. Well, he's coming into this season. He's set to get a big bump in usage. volume, etc. Derek White's going to be, one of the prime pieces, obviously, here for the Celtics, with no Jason Tatum or Kristaps Porzingis now. For obviously most of the season, Tatum will be out, and then Porzingis got traded. So that means a lot of increased volume for White. Offensively, this guy already does a lot, as far as rebounding and assists goes. He's, always a guy that could get a triple-double. He's a very good rebounder, very good passer, and a very good three-point shooter. We've seen his offensive game also develop where now he can score in the paint. He can do a lot of things. Derek White's a very talented player. So I like starting out the season here with him in this spot where we should get a lot of volume with him and a lot of usage to open in a pretty good matchup here for him with the 76ers. 76ers were 20th last season in PRAs allowed to point guard. So I still think White's going to be able to have some success here on the perimeter. Primarily he's a three-point shooter, so he likes to shoot that three a lot. So, which would obviously be terrific. Obviously, you get 3 PRAs right there. So, I still don't think the books still set this line quite high enough, right? I don't know if the books really know what to do with Derek White as of yet, given all the all the players missing and the lineup he's dealing with. I mean, we got Keita starting at center for the Celtics now. If you guys are familiar with Keita, he's not like a very over-the-toply skilled offensive player. I wouldn't expect him to get a lot of volume. So, that's likely, like I said, to go to more to Derek White. So I see White's line as something that should be in the mid-30s. Right now we got it low 30s. So if it gets into the mid-30s, I'd be a little bit more hesitant. But in the low 30s, guys, I really like Derek White. So love it there for number 1 pick, guys. We're going with Derek White over 30.5 PRAs here for the Boston Celtics. Minus 115 odds on Fanatics. Risking a half a unit. I don't know what I said at the beginning, but we're risking a half a unit on all these plays once again. Keep that in mind, guys. Everything is a half a unit once again today. At number 2, we got Ja Morant. Over 24.5 points here for the Memphis Grizzlies. Minus 115 odds on Fanatics. Risking, again, a half unit here. Really like the spot for Ja. Ja was actually one of our players that we bet on quite a bit last year as well. For the most part, he's been pretty good to us too. He's in a spot where a lot of times his lines are about this. His points line is about 24.5. His PRA line's at 37.5. Really like honing in on his points though. I think this is a great spot once again for Ja. He's hit this last 5 times he's played the New Orleans Pelicans, averaging 29.8 points per game. And I would argue this defense on the perimeter got slightly worse with the addition of Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a very erratic player, to say the least. I don't trust his defense. He wasn't particularly good defensively with the Wizards. Wizards allowed the 5th most points to point guards last season. So Jordan Poole certainly, right at this point in his career, is nothing special defensively. And he's in a culture, you're in a culture like the Wizards, the Pelicans. I don't know if those teams are demanding that you play high-level defense at this point. I'm just not seeing that. If he was in Golden State, maybe he'd be playing better defense. But right now, I don't trust his defense. And especially versus a guy like Ja Morant. Jordan Poole is going to be trying to light it up offensively with Ja Morant. He's not going to be all that interested defensively, even in the season opener. No. But the Pelicans ranked 18th last season in points allowed to point guards, which, like I said, isn't really that important. It's more important to focus on Jordan Poole, the actual matchup. And I think Ja Morant, regardless of who's on him, he's Ja Morant. And I don't think anyone on the Pelicans can really hang with him. And I think he's going to have a big scoring game here. You also consider the fact there's no Desmond Bane anymore. So, obviously, you get rid of some of the scoring there. More is going to be asked of Ja Morant, obviously, offensively, to score him and Jaren Jackson. So, but I really like Ja's matchup. I think he gets this done for us today. So, love it there for number 2 pick. We got Ja Morant, over 24.5 points for the Memphis Grizzlies. Minus 115 odds here on Fanatics. Okay, and at number 3, we're going Cam Thomas. Under 2.5 3-pointers made here for the Brooklyn Nets. Plus 105 odds on MGM. Risking a half unit here. This is another guy we bet on a decent bet last year. Believe it or not, this is going to sound weird. I actually took Cam Thomas's over in this matchup last season, and he hit 1-3. So I'm like, you know what? I want my money back on Cam Thomas for that game. So we're attacking here this matchup. What I like is actually, when you think about it, the Hornets on the perimeter now with Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, actually have quite a bit of length. So I think Cam Thomas, for one, is going to have a hard time with pull-up threes. That's really a big part of his game if you guys have watched Cam Thomas. I think the length of Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball could give him some trouble in those matchups. And particularly, hopefully, I'm looking for this to be Brandon Miller on Cam Thomas, which I believe he was injured for that game. We took Cam Thomas on the over. So I like Cam Thomas in the spot. He's actually under in 3 of his last 4 games versus the Hornets, which I like seeing that. The biggest thing that stood out to me, though, is any hope of spot-up threes, I think, goes somewhat out the window with Cam Thomas with the addition of Michael Porter Jr. I think Porter Jr. is the guy they're going to be looking to get the spot-up threes to. And get those looks too. Obviously, Porter Jr. shoots a lot of threes as well. And I think that's going to be a lot of what Porter Jr. does here. And his points line set up near 20 as well for the Brooklyn Nets. So I think you'll see a lot of spot-up looks for Michael Porter Jr. Not so much for Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is more of a all-around offensive player. He'll create in the paint. He'll do his thing like that. He doesn't necessarily have to shoot threes. There's games where he doesn't shoot threes sometimes. Obviously, if he's forced to and there's no other options, he'll do that. But he's got options now with Michael Porter Jr. So like I said, I think this is a good spot for him to head and under. I think this is a guy that's going to be looking, if he does shoot the three, it's going to be pull-up threes. And I think that's going to be tough for him here with the length that the Hornets offer here in this one. So especially given it's the opener on the road, I expect the energy in Charlotte and with guys like Miller and Ball to be pretty good. And their effort level to be pretty good here at the beginning of the season. We'll see how it plays out. But I expect the energy to be pretty high for the home teams, just in general. So, love it there for number 3 pick. We got Cam Thomas, under 2.5 3-pointers made here for the Brooklyn Nets, plus 105 odds here on MGM. Finally, at number 4, we're going Dallas Mavericks, -2 on the spread here versus the San Antonio Spurs. We got -110 odds here on FanDuel, risking a half a unit once again here. Love this Mavs lineup coming into the season. I was very high on the Mavs at the end of last year. We bet on them a decent bit, and we did pretty well with Dallas last year. But obviously, they're a lot healthier even now, and they've added some pieces as well. You got Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, Derek Lively, and D'Angelo Russell in the starting lineup. All those guys are decent. I like all those players. Russell's kind of, on and off at times. There's times where Russell looks great, and there's other times I don't know what he's doing. But overall, playing with this type of a lineup, I do love even Russell in the spot. It should, obviously open up the floor for him as well, playing with guys like Anthony Davis. So, love this Mavs lineup. I love that they're at home here. They're playing against a Spurs team that's dealing with some injuries too. No De'Aaron Fox, no Kelly Olynyk, no Jeremy Sochan. Believe it or not, Sochan is actually the one guy that I looked at and I'm like, oh, that's a big guy for the Spurs. Fox, Olynyk, there's guys that could take their spot and sometimes they can outplay those guys like, Stephen Castle, versus Fox. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I wouldn't make a big deal about Fox, but I make a big deal about a guy like Sochan because he's their effort guy. He's the rebounder. He does a lot for this team. He's an all-around very good player. He's kind of like, he reminds me of Dennis Rodman just in how he looks and how he rebounds. He's not like Dennis Rodman in a lot of senses. He's got, I think, a lot more offensive skill, but I think that's a big loss for them without him in the lineup, obviously. And I think they're obviously lacking some depth behind Wemby here tonight. So I think that's big. We also saw the Mavs last year. They won 3 of the last 4 matchups with the Spurs. 3 or 4 matchups last season. Both games at home. And if you look at this Dallas team, outside of that starting lineup, they also have a lot of depth. A lot of the guys that are on the bench were in the starting lineup last season that we were betting on. If you guys remember, Max Christie, Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, all these guys were in the starting lineup last season, and they all were doing fairly well. Like PJ's a fairly good player. Marshall was their leading scorer for a big stretch of the year where he was putting up at times 30 to 40 points. So I love their depth now as well. I think this is a great spot for Dallas at home. Like I said, they were one of our favorite spread teams at the end of last season. I think they get off to a good start. And obviously, excited to see what Cooper Flagg does, the rookie. And it should be fun there in Dallas. So, love it there for number 4 pick. We're going Dallas Mavericks -2 on the spread versus the San Antonio Spurs, minus 110 odds on FanDuel. And then, guys, of course, for the Sweep Parlay, plus 1298 odds on Fanatics. All the lines are the same except for Dallas. Dallas is minus 3 in this parlay. I couldn't adjust it for whatever reason on Fanatics. They didn't have the alternate spreads available. So I went with the minus 3 because I think they're going to dominate tonight. But you can get the Dallas minus 2 spread on FanDuel. That is minus 110. So, yeah, excited about this, guys. Hopefully we get off to a great start. Like I said, we're not taking a lot of risk here early on. We're risking just over 2 units today. Just because, like I said, and I was happy we did that last night. Just because, like I said, we're still learning things the first couple weeks of the season. There's definitely money that could be made, but you just want to be cautious early season when you don't have a lot of data. You don't know how a lot of these lineups are going to look as far as usage, who's going to become the star players, what matchups, what defenses are good. We don't know a lot of these things specifically yet just because we're just getting started. So just keep that in mind. But overall, guys, I like the looks we have today. Hopefully we'll lock in and get a sweep. As always, that is going to do it for our picks. If you guys enjoyed the content, always appreciate that. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of you guys. Hopefully, like I said, we can make some money for you today, and now we can have a great day in the NBA. Outside of that, that is going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you guys all back here. Oh, one quick thing. NFL Spreads and Totals video coming out later this afternoon. Make sure you guys look for that as well. They'll probably be out 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that. I'm a little behind with that, but yeah. But appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.